How it is possible that some miniature painters are making incredible amounts of money while others are struggling. In today's video, I'm going to spill that paint water and we are going to analyze how those successful miniature painters are making their money. And spoiler alert, is not about thin coats or wet blending. Hello there, this is Gonzalo from El Nerdy Founder, and today we are going to be analyzing how successful miniatures make their money using a tool that I've been using for way over 10 years. The tool is called Business Model Canvas, and it's a tool that helps you understand the whole picture of a business. You just need to populate the information and you can actually see the patterns emerge, and it can give you ideas of how actually make more money. The tool, it's been already populated and you can follow along. I put a couple links in my description where you can actually download a copy of what I'm going to be talking today, as well an empty copy so you can populate with your own business idea. So, shall we dig in? Here we have the entire business model canvas already populated. So we can see that we have different areas that we are going to be focused just to get those dirty little secrets that those miniature painters are doing just to make incredible amounts of money once you understand how actually they make it. So let's start digging in and let's see what we can get. So the first area that we need to understand is who are our customers and what characteristics they have. So it's very interesting that here we have anyone who wants miniature painters. That's the first thing that will come to your mind. However, this is the first critical hit. That's not the main target for painting miniatures. That target audience is for something totally different. The next people that we have is tournament tryhards that we need what you see is what you get for the tournament. Also, miniature collectors that they want to display the best miniatures in their cabinets. Also, adults that they don't have time to paint their miniatures. I know quite a lot of people like that. And then also, very important as well, your local store that needs those miniatures displayed for like the display cases or just to have armies to lend so people can play in the store. Kind of like, actually, when you think about it, most of the painters, they actually will focus only in anyone with miniatures. Anyone, when you start to think like, oh, I have my friends that need a miniature painter. That's your target audience. But you can see here, actually, it's way broader, and the people who make money, actually, they focus less in those people that need a miniature painting, and they target them totally different. But that's something that we're going to see in the next phase. Let's move on and see actually what we're trying to sell. What is our value proposition? And the first thing that comes to your mind and is like, duh, get miniatures painted for someone else. But again, that's not as relevant. The other value that you are going to try to offer is clout. Yeah, sorry from Giant Steve, I don't know you, I'm sure that you're a great painter, but it's just that name recognition. You want to Frost Giant Steve paint my kill team, or he paint my army, or I have like this miniature in my display case by Frost Giant Steve. It's that clout that you are trying to provide. Also, time. You are going to get your army painted, ready for LVO, which is in 3 weeks, because we miniature painters and people who play tournaments, they know like when they release like the new codexes or like the new rules or like an FAQ, you have like a really quick turnaround for the next big tournament. So you need to have like your miniatures ready in a very, very, very fast way. Also, character fills. When you're painting for someone who plays D&D, for example, you want to have the miniature to be their miniature. They have like maybe a gray model that is like their tiefling, but however, when you paint it based on what they have in mind, it's become absolutely great. Also, self-candy. You want to have like all that massive display that is so great that when people go to your house or to your store, that they are like, oh wow, these miniatures are so great. It's a way to attract customers. And then this is tied again to like what I was saying before for customers. you can paint like me. This is when we are starting to introduce those courses, those Patreons, those websites with like tutorials of how to paint or how to make a diorama. And this is very, 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 very important. Here's where the real money is. It's not about painting miniatures, because we will see what are some of the constraints of actually painting miniatures. But the guys who are making all the money, they are focusing more on education. Here's the second critical hit of the day. It's not about painting miniatures. It's actually about teaching how to paint miniatures and create products that you can sell without the constraints of time. So that's the second big takeaway that we're going to have today. So let's go for the next item that we can analyze. The next area to understand is the channel, how you're going to be interacting or reaching your customers. And this is very self-explanatory. There's not much to it nowadays. You have your social media channel, your Instagram galleries, or like Pinterest, or whatever you like to use to post pictures of your miniature. You might attend gaming conventions just to display your miniatures, like deal with like give this is funny, like give like the miniatures to your customers so they can play in the tournaments, and when someone asks them like, yeah, this guy painted the miniatures for me. So it's a channel just to reach your customers. Also, by being in your local gaming store, you are the recommended painter. I know a couple people in some stores that they're unofficial painters for the store. Also, you will have like Discord servers or any other personal channel for your community or group, and then your personal website with your displays and like your classes, or Patreons if you have to. Very self-explanatory, not much to it. So actually we can move to the next topic. And the next topic being customer relationships. And here I want to pause a moment because it's kind of interesting. Most miniature painters fail at customer relationships. They just get an order, they paint the miniature, they ship it away. That's not how you do business, and that's not how you keep those repeating customers that they go after you again and again for painting your things. So let's go back to actually how are some of like the best ways that those people are actually making those impactful relationships with the customers. And here is what they do. First of all, they keep a VIP list of well clients. Those really important clients that they pay $200 for a tutorial, or they pay extra money for getting an army ready. You keep a record of them so you can reach them like, hey, I have some spot available to paint something, or hey, I just launched a new course that you might be interested. So that's what they do. They have like the contact information available for those well clients. Also, they are engaged with the customers. They send them VIP pictures, like they send them like what they're doing, what they want to do, almost thinking about like a very agile methodology, like, hey, today I'm painting the base coats, this is how they look. Oh, today I'm focusing on painting the bases. How about this color? Do you think that they look good? So they keep like an active communication with them just to make sure what they're doing is right, and they keep that customer engaged. Also, they know what the client is having in mind about the miniature. Like, let's say I want to paint a Fire Slayer dwarf. Some people will think like, oh, you wanted Gotrek, like the red hair, like fiery eyes and such. But maybe I'm actually thinking that I wanted to see like an older Fire Slayer, maybe with some white hairs and like almost turning like really, really old because it's been like fighting forever. It's just that make sure that you understand what the customer wants, and they are like the open communication. And here's another trick from marketing. This is marketing 101 or 102, depending on the business class that you're trying to take. They have a wait list again, and this is go with some of the constraints that we're going to discuss down the road. When you're painting miniatures, you have maybe 12 hours a day tops for painting. That's it. You don't have more than 12 hours a day for painting unless you are Superman and you can pull extra hours and don't eat, don't sleep, don't socialize, and do other things except painting. So you are going to be very busy if you are successful. So you need to make sure that you have a wait list. So when people get access or get a spot for your calendar to get something painted, they feel special. They feel like, oh, finally it's my turn to get something really cool. So this is also one of those things that might not be as relevant for people that they don't think about it, but it's very critical. And that's also tied with the next big takeaway that we're going to see in the next fields that we're going to analyze. And now, everyone's favorite field, revenue streams. How we make that money, how we make that goal. So here's the first one that comes to mind is I painted a character. You painted a character, a 75mm statue, something like that. You get paid for painting that, no problems. Also, full army commissions. That's more pricey. You make more money. You don't need to be a detail. So we started to see that actually here we have different amounts of revenue streams. For a miniature, maybe you get some big names out there. I know that they charge $3,000 for a big miniature or something like that. For a full army, you get to charge more because it's more models and usually it's in less amount of time. So think about that. Other one, it's just paint company sponsorships. You get paid to just promote the new line of miniatures, the new line of paints. Some companies are going to pay you because you have already that cloud and you are there. You have already built that audience that need those products. Then another one that is kind of important, and this I talk with a lot of people that actually do this for a living, is box art for companies. When they produce a new model, they need to paint it. Like think about the heavy metal team for Games Workshop, or I know Banshee used to do a lot of box arts back in the day too as well. So people get paid to actually get those box art out there and make money. And now the creep, and I'm going to pause here and just look into your eyes and tell you where actually the money is. It's in the tutorials, Patreons, YouTube tutorials, all those things that you want to actually sell. If you think about painting miniatures, you have X amount of time to paint. However, you produce a video explaining how to paint a miniature for Warhammer and you charge $5 and 100 people buy that tutorial from you, that's $100 already. And you didn't have to do nothing except record the video. That's it. Now, let's be more ambitious. Let's say that you make a big detailed online seminar where you go maybe 8 hours of like how your entire process from the beginning all the way till the end, like you're very detailed and you know how to market it right. You can charge, let's say, $97 for like an entire day video of 8 hours video of how you paint a miniature, and you get 1,000 people. 97 multiplied by 1,000, that's an entire 1 year salary for some people. I'm going to leave you there just to reflect on that, because this might be the most important thing. You want to produce content that you can actually sell online, so you don't actually need to invest your time just to do extra work. I know that some of you most probably are like mind-blowing, or some of you already are aware of it, but try to do the calculations. You will see actually where the real money is. All right, let's move to the next analysis that we're going to do. And just linking from what we were discussing before, it's key activities. What you're going to be focusing on doing during your day just to make it happen. And the first thing is actually painting. But if you want to make money, and I put it right here, because this was a quote from someone who's actually using this template for a living, you are going to be painting maybe 60% of your time. What you're going to be focusing the most is actually making content about painting, marketing, and learning new techniques or learning new things, either to market yourself better, to differentiate yourself better because you are the only one who knows how to do a skill, or learning how to paint something new. You're going to be learning, because if you don't learn, you get stagnant and people will surpass you, and we've seen that in the marketplace. A couple years ago, Giant Steve was the best painter. Now it's a different painter that knows how to market himself better because they post more memes, they post better marketing out there, and he's getting all the business in their Patreon. So you need to learn those skill sets as well. But here, I just want to pause again and just focus on you and just showcase. Painting is just 60% of your time, because you only have X amount of hours to paint in a day, and you cannot paint faster and produce the same result multiply by 10 miniatures a day. You paint maybe 1, 2, 3 models in 10 hours. You are not going to paint 30 models in those same 10 hours at the same level. So this is the key that I just want to emphasize. Focus in making content and selling that content. This is the biggest secret out there. All right, key partners. So partners, as name implies, is with whom you can collaborate. So painting companies that they maybe can sponsor you and send you the army painter deals. You get like those new paints and test them, make a couple videos or post about them, so they get like people buying them. Also, the local gaming stores, just referrals. If you go to the store and you have like someone saying like, hey, I have one guy that wants a full army painted, and they send it your way. So you want to make those relationships. Gaming companies or miniature companies, just so they can send you those miniatures. We know the influencer program from Games Workshop. Everyone knows about that. Then also, one that I know that some people are doing out there, it's other painters. They collaborate for making content, or if they have a backlog of miniatures, they say like, hey, I don't have the time to paint it, but maybe my peer can paint it for you. So you have that good relationship with other painters, because at the end of the day, if we collaborate, everyone succeeds. So that's for the key partners. Then the other area that we can analyze, and is not that relevant, it's important, but it's not crazy, is the resources. What tangible and intangible things you need to create your product. You need material, brushes, paints, a camera to take good pictures, some social media with people engaged already. It's just the common sense. However, important thing to actually have in consideration, it's a painting style that is recognizable, or a marketing style that is very unique. I know painters that they create their own terms of techniques just to actually market themselves differently. I'm sure that you guys are thinking some names because it's common knowledge. Also, there are painters out there that they are really smart with the marketing, and they are always making funny memes, funny videos, and they get out there faster, and everyone knows them as, oh, you are the meme guy. That's genius from them. Like it works. So those are the resources that you need to have. It's not just about the paint and the materials and the stuff that you have, but it's also about the knowledge that you have and the skill sets that you have, just in order to advertise, to market yourself. And now, finally, let's analyze what costs do you have, the costs associated to actually making money, because usually to make money you need to spend some money. You need material, as discussed before, paint, brushes, lights, whatever. You need time, and this is the most critical one. And this is, I'm going to, again, just to make sure that you guys understand how critical is this. Time is your biggest constraint and the biggest cost. You only have 24 hours a day to paint. You don't have all the time in the world, and you can produce faster. You just can't paint as much as you need. So that's why the focus is not as much in painting. However, is creating content that you can sell, that your time is not associated with it. So going back to what we need, it's also your phone, your knowledge, all the brain power. Actually, it takes a lot of brain power to learn some of the techniques, and you need to practice. So that's also like some of the costs that you will have associated. But that's basically all that it is for like the business model canvas. It's just, now that we see it all and we get some ideas, I'm sure that your gears are starting turning and thinking, okay, so actually painting is important, but in order to make real money, you need to actually make products that you can sell while you're sleeping. Honestly, that's what it is. And if you start doing the math, and there are multiple books about it out there, I'm just thinking like Superfans it's one great example that it gives this example. If you have 1,000 people that can pay you $100 a year, that's an entire salary for a year, a really good salary for most people. And you just need 1,000 people. That's all. Sure, if you sell something for the cheaper, you will need more people. But nowadays, there are people, painters that they have like 100,000 followers or more. So you started to see actually what they're doing and what they're making, because I went behind the scenes and I talked with some of these guys. Some guys are doing fine. Some guys are doing not so good because they are focusing mostly in painting and they take it very prideful that they are just the best painters. But some of them are smart and they are treating this as a business, not as a hobby. And they are really making bank. So that's all that I wanted to discuss with you guys today. I hope this tutorial and this analysis help you understand actually how you can make real money just by painting miniatures, doing something that you love. And hopefully you guys understand it's not all about the craft. It's the craft plus the business side. So hopefully you find this video useful. If you find it useful, click that like, click that subscribe. I will be doing more analysis about either painting miniatures and the business aspect of it, or other business model analysis from other geeky businesses out there. And again, if you want to follow along and build your own business model canvas, there's a link in the description that it will take you to like an actual guide step by step of how you can populate that business model canvas, and you can start thinking ways to improve your business, because once you have everything in paper, you can see patterns, you can see ways to optimize your business. And that's all for me. We'll see you next week. And in the meantime, keep crafting and build your own legend. See you around.